All right, who's here on Donnell Green?
Judge, I am present on Mr. Green.
All right, Mr. Green.
Sir, what is your name?
Marshall White.
White?
That's right.
Court is calling 2024 CR 007470, State of Texas versus Donnell Green. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Alex Jackson.
Defense.
Marshall D. White for Mr. Donnell Green, the defendant, Your Honor.
Are you Mr. Green?
Yes, Your Honor.
And counsel, there are no applications?
There are not, Judge.
All right, Mr. White, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
I believe at this time I have, Your Honor, and we did go over that.
All right, court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Green, did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, we're proceeded on the lesser included of attempted violation of sex offender registry. It'll bump down to a state jail.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of violation of sex offender registration annual to attempted violation of sex offender registration annual as a state jail felony?
Yes, Your Honor.
Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not, I'm sorry, off the record, back on the record. Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement you were giving up those rights?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Green, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 95 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. Did you understand that to be the plea?
That was my understanding, yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No such motions, Your Honor.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
And I'm sorry, that's to the lesser included offense. No
No
contest?
contest.
State, any evidence?
State of State Exhibit 1 with all attachments.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right. Did you review the document entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to a jury trial, a right for you and your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
I do understand, Your Honor.
Did you understand that the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Respectfully, Your Honor, Mr. Green would like for the court to know that he's very remorseful about this matter, that he does not expect for this to happen again, and that you go along with the plea bargain union and plead with the state.
All right. Court will sentence you to 95 days in the Bexar County Jail, give you credit for any time served, and that's 95 days under 1244. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
That's a document you have.
Oh, yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Make sure you report, otherwise you will be right back here. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
good
you,
afternoon.
All right, you
Mr.
too.
Green, good luck with you, sir.
Thank you.
No problem. Court is calling 2024 CR 2313, State of Texas versus Joshua Wong. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Scott McClung for Mr. Wong.
And are you Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Counsel, have you received all of the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Wong, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes.
Did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are.
Did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Off the record, your client needs to sign that.
Sorry. This was,
All right.
remember I talked to you about you were waiving your right to appeal if the judge follows the plea agreement.
Thank you. All right, we're back on the record. All right, did you understand you're charged with terroristic threat of a public servant?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes. Ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea you are giving up those rights?
Yes. Ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in prison, and up to $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes. Ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do believe.
Mr. Wong, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes. Ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $2,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense is at the plea.
It is, Your Honor, with the understanding that I would ask the court if you would consider probating the fine. He's a high school student.
All right, state is at the plea.
It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motion?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 5 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours of community service restitution, no possession of any weapons on school grounds and within 1,000 feet of any schools. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contest.
State any evidence.
State exhibit number 1 with all this. No objection.
All right, state you may continue to confer.
Thank you.
Did you review the document entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes. Ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront Any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, please, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, this young man has never had any trouble with the law before. He's never even had any trouble at school before. He realizes what a dumb thing this was that he did. He's been allowed back into regular classes at his school. He attends a youth ministry, I think 4 times a week. We're not gonna have any problems with this young man again. I'm certain of it. So I hope you would just follow the agreement and, that's all.
All right, why would you do such a thing? Why are you putting this on social media?
Sorry, I just didn't meant to do it.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't meant to do it. I just.
No, I mean, you meant to do it because you did it. I'm trying to figure out what was your thought process behind doing what you did.
Just did it for fun.
All right. And now look where we are.
Yes.
You need to start thinking before you act, and doing things for likes or whatever young people are doing now. It's not worth it. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So has he received any type of mental health treatment?
No, Judge, I haven't seen any indication that he's ever had any kind of issues before. And talking with his family, they were just shocked by this. He's been a good kid and by all accounts goes to school, does well in school, is in, like I said, youth ministry.
What are your grades like in school?
My grades.
Mhm.
They're good. Good grades.
What does that
Like
mean?
what?
Everybody has a
What kind of grades?
definition of good.
Like 80s, 90s.
Okay, 80s, 90s. And they've changed the grading scale from when I was in school. Now an 80 can be an A, which is unheard
Oh,
of.
I don't think a 80 could be an A, Judge.
Yes.
89 maybe could be an A minus. But
You know, when I was in school, 90, you were just on the cusp of
That's an
being
A
at
minus.
a B. No, 90, when I was in school, that was the cusp of the B. You're not really pushing an A. You're just
Yeah,
praying,
yeah.
So what do you do in your spare time? Are you involved in any extracurricular activities?
No.
What tell about the ministry that you're youth?
Well, I'm in a ministry like, church. I go to church, like they have a youth program.
All right, everyone, you need to whisper.
They
yes.
have a youth program and I go.
Tell
what
her
do
how
do in
often
the
you
youth
go.
program?
I go Mondays. Well, I go like almost every day.
All right, so what do you do there?
Like we pray, we sing, and then yeah, they like give us a lesson.
All right, are you involved in any school clubs or sports?
No,
Why not?
I'm not I'm not interested.
All right, well, I will tell you, different clubs at school, that's a way to meet with your peers. And a lot of times people think being on the football team or basketball team's the end all to be all. I was president of the physics and chemistry club. So it's just, you're meeting people who maybe have your same interests that you do. So you need to figure out what your interests are and what you're planning to do with your future, because it's not too late for you. So you need to start focusing on that, because this is a bad start to the rest of your future, but you can still turn it around. Do you understand? All right. So does anybody want him off of social media?
I don't.
Is he going to go through withdrawals if he's not on social media?
I mean, any kid his age will probably go through withdrawals not being on social media, but maybe for a short period if you're inclined.
Okay. Well, I will tell you what I am going to require, though, and I do this for a lot of the younger people who are on probation. You're still in high school. Technically, you're an adult according to the law, but I still think sometimes they need some extra guidance. So I am going to require you to check in with me so we can make sure that you stay on the straight and narrow. So other than probation, you're going to end up coming in to check in with me. and I'm going to make sure you check in with me. Probably we'll do it once every 3 months, just to make sure that he's on track. And if you have any issues, you can discuss any issues that you may have with me, or maybe with your attorneys, because sometimes I know people don't want to discuss certain things with their parents. I personally don't encourage that. I think you should be able to discuss everything with your parent, as I did with mine. But sometimes people want to hear it from a stranger. All right?
Okay.
So this is what we're going to do. There's a $2,000 fine. That's going to be probated. Ms. Abrams, this is one person. I'm not going to do proof of employment because you're in school full time.
Yes.
All right. So I'm not going to do the proof of employment with him. I'm going to do 5 years deferred adjudication. Counsel, if he completes everything successfully, the court will consider releasing him. And if you want to be released early for probation, it will be good for you after you graduate from high school to get in somebody's trade school or go to somebody's college. Then I will strongly consider letting him off early. There is going to be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to make you do that. You can either do the 200 hours of community service restitution, or you can join an organization at your school. And the hours you spend in that organization at your school, for every hour you do that, that'll be an hour less of community service restitution you have to provide to the court. You understand?
Yes.
And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want you to get to know the other students. Sometimes people are very shy and they think they don't have anything in common with other people, but you will find that probably the same insecurities or issues that you're going through, somebody else at school is going through the same thing. And they're just waiting for somebody to say, hey, I feel that same way too. You understand?
Yes.
There's going to be regular reporting. And LaShawn, all right, Ms. Abrams, and we're back on the record in 2024 CR 2313. In this case, because he's in school, can we do reporting by Zoom?
Yes, but
All right, so there'll be regular reporting by Zoom. And I'm doing that because I don't want you to miss school. Field visits, 1 time per month for 3 months. And while you're on probation, you're not allowed to have possession of any weapons. So the request for no possession of any weapon on school grounds and within 1,000 feet of any schools, you're just not allowed to possess weapons, period. Do you understand?
Yes.
And there'll be regular random UAs. And counsel, he can do the UAs or either he can do the patch. The patch costs more, but regular random UAs, it may end up being a little bit difficult, Ms. Abrams, since he's in school and I don't want him to miss school. So,
What time do you get to school every day?
4:15.
Yeah, it could be tight.
yes, he gets out of school at 4:15. So if he's not able to do that, you're going to have to do the patch because you have to be drug tested. Do you understand?
Yes.
Judge, unless you give them 24 hours to submit after.
All right, I'll do regular random UAs with 24 hours to submit.
Thank you.
And a mental health evaluation. And that can be done out of custody. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from the court?
No, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on this case, can I have a 60-day reset?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so on October 7th, you're going to come in. You'll probably be a little bit late for school, but if he's here at 9, I'll take him up before my docket is called, because I want to keep track of him and make sure that he stays on the path that he's supposed to stay on.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal
Yes, ma'am.
with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed the plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Here on out, everything that you do, you need to ask yourself, is this something that could potentially result in me going to prison for 10 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see everybody over in that box?
Yes.
Those are inmates that are brought over from the Bexar County Jail. And the fact that you are of your age, the inmates at the jail are not going to care because you're going to be legally an adult. So you need to make sure that you stay on the straight and narrow so you don't end up at the Bexar County Jail or that you don't end up at prison. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And in this courtroom, communication is key. Talk to your probation officer. If you feel as though you're struggling with conditions, pick up the phone, call probation, call your attorney. If you feel as though they're not addressing it, you can always come back to court and address it with me. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you and thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Judge, does the court need to do anything for his conditions of bond to be, because he's on a monitor?
All right,
He's been on it without fail, hasn't been able to do anything.
all right, this is what, is he on,
Full GPS,
full GPS?
other than being able to go to church.
All right, I'm gonna allow him to go to school and I'm gonna allow him to go to church and then he can come back
Mhm.
and I'll consider
He's
things.
been on for quite a while already, Judge. He's not gonna,
Okay, let me just tell you, I've had young people that come to this court before who've had similar charges to him. And I've got to make sure that you stay on track. Because if you think about this case, not as your case, just as a case in general, what you did, that puts everybody on high alert. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I know you may thought it was a joke, but with what's happening in the world, other people did not think that was a joke. And that probably disrupted a lot of schools and disrupted a lot of students and gave them anxiety. And it probably gave parents a lot of anxiety. So the fact that you're on GPS in the big scheme of things balanced against what you've done, this is where we are. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you come back in October, what I will do is I'll start slowly, if everything is going well, I'll start slowly lifting you from that.
Okay.
Okay?
Judge,
Who's here on Andrew Estrada?
Yes, Anita Perez, actually.
All righty. All right. Court is calling 2024 CR 0350, State of Texas versus Andrew Thomas Estrada. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense.
Anita Perez for the defense.
And are you Mr. Estrada?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You entered a plea of guilty on April 4th. According to the plea bargain agreement, the punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 7 years in the prison, and the state is silent on your application. And both parties agreed to waive the PSI, and the court requested the TAP evaluation and also the defendant's criminal history. Defense, have you had a chance to review the TAP evaluations?
Oh, me? Yes, Judge, I have.
Okay. Any objections to the TAP evaluation?
No, Judge.
All right, and state, do you have the criminal history for the court?
Yes, Your Honor, handed the judge the NCICT CIC.
Any objections to the court review?
No, Judge.
And
No,
defense, have you had a chance to review?
Yes, I have.
Everyone, just give me a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
State?
I can't even reach, sorry, Judge.
No problem. All right, the state is silent on application. Any witnesses, defense?
No, Judge, just my client.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Andrew Thomas Estrada.
All right, defense?
Okay, Andrew, so do you know what you're here for today?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell us what you're here for?
I'm here for an evading arrest with a motor vehicle charge.
Okay, and previously we had court on April the 30th. Can you tell the court what happened that day or why you weren't here on the 30th?
On April 29th, I was in here for a decision that I made. I knew that I was going to be incarcerated and I had some things that I had to take care of outside. such as getting the custody of my kids into my mom's hands.
And I'll stop you right there. So, can you tell us when you were arrested for the DWI?
I cannot tell you the exact time.
Okay, so if the PSI, oh, I'm sorry, if the TAP evaluation says April 24th, does that refresh your memory
April 24th is.
that you picked up the DWI?
Oh, yeah, I picked up a DWI in Nueces County on April 24th.
Yes, that's a charge I'm talking about. And do you remember picking up that charge?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
So are you currently on probation in another county?
Yes, ma'am, I'm currently on probation for San Patricio County.
And, now it's correct that you started probation on 2022 and you were on 5-year probation, right?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And our hope was that we would continue probation in San Patricio and that you would be granted probation here. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am, that was the original
Agreement.
hope that we had.
And that's why we agreed to the cap of 7 years. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And at this point, we negotiated with the state and we asked if we could withdraw our plea, and that wasn't agreed to. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. And so are we, are you asking the court to consider all of that, and especially with the new charge? Are you asking her to take that into consideration, that we've obviously changed our opinion?
Absolutely.
Now, do you believe that you will be granted, continued on probation in San Patricio?
That I do not know to answer honestly. I could only hope that I would be continued on probation with them or.
Well, we don't know, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and have you been to ISF?
Yes, ma'am, I went to the CBR ISF located in Sinton, Texas.
Okay, and did you attend from May 24th through June?
I believe it was from May to January.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, that's correct. Did you attend from May through January?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you complete that successfully?
Yes, ma'am, I successfully completed the CBR ISF treatment phase, the cognitive phase, and the aftercare phase.
Okay, let's see. Can I have it marked? Can I borrow, do you have a sticker? Or-
Counsel, if you want the court to just review that so he can still keep his certificates.
These are not the originals, Judge. I'm gonna put it on the record.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Estrada, I'm handing you what's been marked as defendants exhibit 1, 2, and 3. And do you recognize these documents? Don't tell me what they are, just tell me if you recognize them.
Yes, ma'am, I recognize it.
Okay, and are they true and accurate copies of
Yes,
the
ma'am.
documents that you
Yes,
believe
ma'am.
that they are?
Those are photocopies of the certificates I received for completing the program's requirements.
And you believe that these are true and accurate copies of those certificates? Is
Yes,
that right?
ma'am.
Okay. Any objection?
No.
All right, so at this time, we're asking for the defendants exhibit number 1, 2, and 3 to be admitted, Judge.
All right, 1, 2, and 3 is admitted without objection.
Okay, now, since they've been admitted, can you tell me what they are?
One of them is going to be my MRT, moral recognition therapy. The other one would be cognitive treatment, and then the other one was the aftercare.
And because we waived PSI, Judge, I know that there's no PSI, but do you want me to ask my client about his prior criminal history? I mean, is that helpful to the court?
No, well, I reviewed the NCIC and TCIC, but I do have some questions.
Okay.
All right, the questions I have is that the classes that he completed, the dates on them, completion date, are from 2023.
They should be 2024, Judge.
They say 2023.
Yes, ma'am, I see that. It must be like a misprint because I was
Yeah.
released the day after I got those certificates.
Because the ropes are really tight. Miss Phillips. My mic is underneath the papers.
All right.
I haven't,
I was discharged January 9th, 2024. So, and it's on my, the criminal history that I reviewed.
All right, so January.
Yes, ma'am, of 2024.
All right, so January 2024, I have this successful completion, right? And you're saying the dates are from 2024?
Yes, ma'am. That was when I was released from the ISF in Sinton, Texas on January 9th, 2024.
I have another letter for the court if the court is,
Yes.
do you recognize this document?
Yes, ma'am. That is from my probation officer at the
What-
CBI.
So it's a letter, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it a true and accurate, copy of the letter that was, actually, she emailed it to me. But is that,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So at this time, we're asking that defendant's exhibit number 4 be admitted. From the probation officer.
Objection, Judge.
All right, defense exhibit number 4 is admitted without objection.
Yes, Judge, so that letter was emailed to me by his probation officer out of San Patricio. And I believe that should hopefully clarify the dates, because in that letter, she states that he was released January 9th of 2024 as his testimony. I don't know why the certificates would be incorrect, Judge.
Oh.
I didn't even, let's see it.
And then you stated the reason why you didn't show up for court because you thought you were going to be taken into custody and you had other things that you need to take care of?
That is correct. But when I said other things, that I needed to get custody of my kids, taking care of power of attorney to my mother, and
Mhm.
get other financial situations that I had to get taken care of before I turned myself in.
So after taking the moral recognition therapy, which is supposed to help you with your thought process, your thought process was, let me not show up to court because I think I'm going to be taken into custody. So I'm not going to show up. I'll just deal with that later. Is that what you're telling the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. He's still making a bad decision, it appears, to the court.
Yes, that's correct, Judge. I mean, do you acknowledge that you have any problem with any substances at all you want to tell the court about?
I do have a problem with alcohol. That is the whole reason why a string of bad decisions was made and I did not go to court.
So he didn't come to court on for sentencing on April 30th, 2024. And this DWI that he committed, I'm
It's
assuming
pending,
he's
Judge.
pled to it. Is it still pending?
It's still pending. I called Nueces County, and it's not even filed yet.
All
They
right.
take a while to file their cases. I think they
All right.
usually will file it right under the statute. I did call San Patricio County, and they filed the MTR on June 14th, 2024. So, after this, Judge, I'm assuming he's gonna be transferred over there to have it.
My question is, the DWI, and it's just an allegation.
Right.
When is that alleged to have occurred? Does anyone know?
April 24th, Judge.
All right.
Yeah,
So
that's-
instead of, he comes to court, he enters a plea of guilty on April 4th. And then April 24th, he is charged with DWI. And then he doesn't show up on April 30th.
And-
So you're concerned about your children, so concerned that you pick up a DWI on April 24th instead of getting your affairs in order. Is that the sequence of events for the court?
That was a sequence of events, but not the sequence of my thoughts. When I caught the DWI, I called my probation officer in San Patricio and let her know within the 2 days that she needed to hear from me. Once I let her know, she said she was going to let the TAP evaluation officer know. She notified me on Monday that the probation was off the table and that she was going to go ahead and recommend incarceration for me the following Tuesday. So, I wouldn't say that I made the best decision possible for me or my family, but
So
I
was
did.
it a catch me if you can situation?
No, he turned
absolutely
himself
not.
in,
I
Judge.
turned myself in
When?
About a month ago.
Yes, about a month ago, I believe it was,
I have it written
it's on the 9th of July, I believe.
All right, so you didn't turn yourself in on May.
No, ma'am.
You didn't turn yourself in June.
No, ma'am.
So you turn yourself in July.
Yes, ma'am.
And this power of attorney for your mom, how long does it take to write out documentation to say, I want my children with my mother? That's not even a day.
Yes, ma'am. Also during this time period, I did call the Bexar County clerk and I was asking about a warrant for my arrest.
No, we're not about the warrant right now. Where I am is, you said you picked up this DWI.
Mhm.
You didn't come to court because you thought you're going to be taken into custody. So instead of coming to court, you don't show up. And part of your reason for not showing up, you said, was because you needed to get your affairs in order, to get a power of attorney to your mother for your children, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So a power of attorney to your mother takes 30 minutes tops. And so you didn't report for the full month of May and didn't report for the full month of June.
No, ma'am, I did not report.
Okay. All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is finding you guilty. The court is going to sentence you to 6 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. Did you review the trial court certification of defendants' rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll recommend the therapeutic community for you. It doesn't increase the length of time that you're in custody, but I'll recommend it. And if you sign and request it, they may consider you for the program. I don't have the authority or jurisdiction to force them to place you in the program, but you will not be placed in the program if you do not request it. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, okay? Thank you. All right, who's here on Adam? Augustine Adam?
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. All right, did y'all confer with probation?
Not fully, I guess.
All right. All right, have a seat. All right. Are y'all ready to proceed on Adame? Or is it Adam? All right. I'm trying to bring an accent to the party when an accent hasn't been invited.
I know, it's just Adam, right? Okay, I was like making sure, now I'm questioning myself.
All right. Court is calling 2022 CR 7878, State of Texas versus Augustine Adam. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state defense?
Marissa Giovanco for Mr. Adam.
And are you Mr. Adam?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, Yaya, could I have the file stamp for a motion to revoke?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have my copy. You want my copy?
All right. Mr. Adam, did you review the document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and First Amendment Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Augustine Adam who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2022 CR 7878 for the offense of assault, family choking, strangulation on September 16, 2022 for a period of 4 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Judge, before I read it, I just want to make sure that you're aware that there's also another case that is in Plea too. I don't know if
Yes.
Okay.
I have that.
Thank you. Yes, Your Honor. Violated condition number 4 in Bexar County, Texas, to defendant Augustine Adam. The defendant there failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of January and February 2023. Violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
And we waive the remaining violation condition, Your Honor.
No
Any
objection. No objection.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4? Do you understand? Because I want the record to be clear and to make sure that you understand whatever agreement that you worked out with the state, the court does not have to follow that agreement. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
The agreement that may have made with the state, that's just a recommendation for the court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Your Honor, and it is to deny the motion and continue the individual on his probation, and to run this concurrent with cause number 2023 CR 5176, which is the criminal mischief state jail.
All right, is that the proposed agreement?
It is, Judge, and Mr. Adam, the criminal mischief that he is pleading to was prior to his probation. Mr. Adam has told me that he did have some struggles while he was on probation. He found himself homeless and he struggled with no cell phone and contacting his probation officer. He fully understands now that that is not an excuse and that he has to fully participate in his probation. He is motivated to do so. He has another child coming and he has never been to prison. He does not want to experience prison for the first time. He wants to be able to be here for all of his children, including the new birth of his new child. And there is a significant amount of restitution that is owed based on the criminal mischief case. And he is understanding that and prepared to do what he can to gain employment and work on paying that restitution.
All right. Do you have anything you wish to say?
No, ma'am.
All right. So where has he been since 2023?
It's my understanding, Judge, that that's when he was homeless. I don't know if he wants to speak on that himself, but
I didn't have nowhere.
You want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give would be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Where have you been?
I've been living on the streets by myself. Like, I was
Living on the street since when?
since 2023. My own family threw me out when I had my other kids with me. That's how I ended up on a CPS case, and I went bottom hill from there. Like, I was going through depression.
All right, but you have a child that's on the way.
Yes,
So I'm assuming, since you have a child on the way, that child has not been in gestation since 2023 because the months don't add up.
no.
So-
This child that's coming is just a recent child that
So help me understand, you're homeless, which means you don't have a place to stay, but yet you continue to have children and you're homeless.
I do certified contracting,
Okay.
so that's
And
like
who is the mother of this child that's about due?
her name's Laura. I don't know. I don't remember her last name. It's
So you're having a child with somebody, you don't even know their last name.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions?
no, Judge.
Has he done anything on probation? Ms. Abrams?
No, Judge.
All right. Court is going to grant the motion, find you guilty. His range of punishment is up to 10 years in the prison. Would you like to speak to the amount of time, counsel?
Judge, we would ask for the minimum of 2 years.
All right. Court is going to find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Destiny Cardenas.
I have no contact with her no more. We went our separate ways.
I'm sorry, what?
We went our separate ways after that.
All right. All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion not the fact that you are on deferred adjudication. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is not, I'm sorry, because this is an affirmative finding of family violence and a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you all still wish to proceed with the plea bargain agreement that's been reached?
We just step back for a moment?
Yes.
Okay,
All right, you have a seat in the box. All right, who's here on Rolando Valadez? Yes. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 7772, State of Texas versus Rolando Valadez for the state defense.
Joanne Akel.
And have you had a chance to confer with probation on this?
Yes, I have.
All right, could I have a file stamp for a motion to revoke, please? And are you Mr. Rolando Valadez? Did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Rolando Valadez who was placed on community supervision in 2023 CR 7772 for the offense of driving while intoxicated third or more on November 27, 2023 for a term of 9 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Yes, Judge, just to give you on page 2, the fourth, number 26, that's the one I'll be reading.
All right, thank you.
Violated condition number 26, on or about the first day, January 2024, Fair County, Texas. Defendant Armando Sanchez, the defendant failed to comply with the rules, regulations, or instructions of the Smart Start portable alcohol monitoring PAM device, and that the defendant submitted a high bribe violation of 0.037 at 10:35 p.m. in violation condition number 26.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, ma'am.
May remain violated conditions.
Any objections?
No objection, Judge.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 26, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 9 years in prison and up to a $500 fine?
Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 26?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 26 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Your Honor.
Yes.
That is to continue on probation, the amend conditions for the scram device and move the PAM device.
Judge, may I
Yes.
mention to the court? The only issue my client has with that is that the scram device is extremely expensive. I think it costs $300 a month. He's currently paying $88 a month on the PAM device. So it's going to be very hard for him to afford the scram.
All right. My question is, why shouldn't he be in inpatient treatment?
Why should he not?
Yes.
I have no idea, Judge.
All right. Ms. Abrams,
Yes, Judge.
is there a reason why he shouldn't be in inpatient treatment? Yes.
Judge,
That's a beautiful.
back in March, we did the TUPIDITY screening, the drug and the alcohol evaluation, the pre-screening for the TAP. At that point, it said no TAP was required. He has completed his needs of impact panel. There was only one positive urinalysis for alcohol back in January. His other UAs have been negative. I would recommend that we do a TAP in custody to see where that falls. To get a recommendation and then go from there possibly. It looks like there was a TAP done last year and it indicated intensive outpatient treatment. He has not had any treatment while he's been on his probation term, outpatient. So I would ask that maybe we get another TAP and then follow recommendations of the TAP.
All right, thank you.
Which means say my client is currently employed and there's a very high risk of him losing his employment if he goes inpatient. We would request if the court is considering some sort of treatment to allow him to start with outpatient.
All right. Here's the issue, Mr. Valadez.
Yes, ma'am.
You have an alcohol addiction. And you knew that if you were to test positive for alcohol, you were looking at 9 years in the prison. Either you consciously or unconsciously weighed your options. Your options were, do I drink alcohol and potentially go to prison for 9 years? Or either you did it unconsciously, but either way, you risked your freedom over a drink of alcohol, which tells me you have an alcohol issue. What I'm going to do, I'll deny the motion. I'm going to alternate amend conditions. There's going to be an update for a TAP evaluation that's going to take place in custody. You're going to follow whatever recommendations TAP has. I'm also going to order an update, not an update, but a referral to felony drug court. And that's going to be done in custody as well. And once you're released, either from inpatient treatment, if that's recommended, I'm going to ask for SCRAM in lieu of the PAM device. And there's going to be 120 sober meetings in 120 days. Is there anything else you need from the court to help you maintain your sobriety?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Probation, is there anything else he needs? All right, good luck to you.
Have a seat, sir.
All right, are the parties ready on Augustine? Adam?
Yes, sir.
Court is calling 2023 CR 5176, State of Texas versus Augustine. Adam? Can I have parties again announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Marissa Giovanco.
And are you Mr. Adam?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, in this case, have you received all of the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Adam, did you review what's entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 1 year in the state jail facility. There's a $2,000 fine. There are no applications. This is to run concurrent with 2022 CR 7878. There's to be restitution to William Metz, M-E-T-Z, in the amount of $7,466.33. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Judge. We would just ask if you could waive the fine.
Or you can go off the record. You got to make better decisions in your life. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Valadez?